What's happening, everybody? It is Thursday night, New Year, and we're back. Thrifty Business with Jay and Nay. I'm your one host, Vegas Jay.
And I'm Philly Nay.
What's happening,
Happy New Year, and hello, everyone.
And we got a special guest tonight, the big man himself, Dan Meadors. What's happening, Dan?
Not much. How you doing, man?
We are good. So we're going to talk wholesale tonight, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool.
Happy to be on there with you guys.
Well, thanks for being on
Yeah,
our
thank
show
you,
tonight.
Dan. We're excited about this new topic.
All right, so as usual, we're going to say bye-bye to Dan for a little bit, and we'll bring him back in about half hour. Whee! All right, here we go. It is time to, oops, nope, not do that. See, you take a week off, now you get rusty.
That's an excuse, right?
Yeah. Here we go.
All right.
That was a shitty gong. Let's try that again. Much more impactful. Hey, it's time for Jay's Tiki Talk. Each week I drink a different rum and, whoops, not cat time yet. I share a different tiki mug. So, Christmas time was just here. My birthday was this year. I got new mugs, new rum. So I thought I'd share off a couple of those. This is brand new tiki mugs from a tiki bar called The Alibi. It's in Portland and it's been there since 1947. One of the longest still running, or maybe the longest still running tiki bars. Here's the good and the bad. It is one of the most amazing looking tiki bars in the country. So if you get to Portland, go there. Here's the problem, Nadine. The drinks are horrible. So if you go there, just get a beer or a wine.
Do they have Guinness?
I don't know, because I was drinking just crappy light American beer. But they made new mugs, and they're made by Monk Tiki. Yeah, they're made by Monk Tiki. You know my love of Monk Tiki, so yes. I was happy to add to my collection.
Very nice.
And then the rum I'm drinking, it was a gift from my mother. Now, if you like spiced rum, the normal spiced rum is 80 proof. Sailor Jerry, which is what I like, is 92 proof. And this is absolutely insane. This is spiced rum that is 130 proof. That just doesn't happen normally. So this is called Pirate's Fire Rum. And let me tell you, it is yummy, but it is potent, 130 proof. Holy free holy. So that's some potent ass rum. What are you drinking tonight?
Well, I have a white wine in a Guinness glass.
White wine again? Isn't that like sacrilegious or something?
Well, I don't have any Guinness in the house, and I like my glass, so.
All right, there you go. All right, we have done tiki time. Now it is time for Nay's update. Nay's breast cancer update fact of the week.
You're really rusty.
I got to get the cobwebs out of my head. Holy cow.
Okay, so I really didn't plan this segment. I will say that I'll just let you guys know what's going on with me. I'm trying to get through some things. I do have a new potential concern that I need to get biopsied, and I'm okay with that because it may or may not be something, but in the meantime, I've had an insurance issue. So I'm trying to get that straightened out, and I need to switch hospitals, which is really hard at this point in the game. So I will be going to a new hospital within the next couple of weeks, getting all my care, and getting back to, I need at least 2 more surgeries as well. So that's where I'm at right now. And I just wanted to give a shout out to all of my wonderful pink sisters who helped carry me through Christmas and the New Year. And I have some amazing pink sister friends. So
yes, I saw the pictures. They are amazing.
Yes, they are. Thank you.
Good people there in Philly. All right, let's get right into it, shall we?
Yes.
It's our scores of the week. Cha-ching. All right, you are up first.
Okay. I don't see my score on the screen yet, so tell me which one it is.
The Hush Puppy Shoes.
Oh, I told you to 86 them. Okay.
No, you told me 86 something else. All right, well.
That's fine. Whatever.
You told me 86 the hat, remember?
Yeah, I guess I did. All right. You're right, I'm wrong. Okay, so these Hush Puppy shoes, now I had them up for, I can't see the screen, so I don't remember what I had them up for. Do you see it, Jason?
Yeah, you had them up for 70 and they sold for 40.
Yeah, so I had them up for 70, but I didn't really expect to necessarily get the 70 for them. I had priced them ambitiously. However, I got an offer for 40, and they've been up for a while. So they ship at the 2-pound rate. They were actually going local to New York, so it cost me like $5 or $6 to ship them, and so I was happy with that sale. And I paid $3.99 for those. So
Nice.
yes.
All right, your menorah.
This has a story with it.
You watch our
And
thrift hauls. You saw this menorah.
Yeah. So if you remember on the thrift haul, when I first showed this menorah, it was all black. It was all oxidized, and it really needed to be shined. And I had the two can. Jason, you said don't polish it.
I did say don't polish it, and I was wrong on this one.
I polished it, and it came out beautiful. And I photographed it outside on a black background, and it just really it really popped. So what happened with this was it was during Hanukkah, but it was actually like the last day or the second to last day of Hanukkah. So they wouldn't have gotten it in time for Hanukkah this year. But I got an offer the night before Hanukkah ended for, I think it was
$59.
Okay, $59. You remember, yes. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I should take that. But then I was like, you know what? Hanukkah's almost over. So I accepted the offer, and I was like, yay, I sold it for $59. And then the guy messaged me and said, you know what? And check with my wife first. And she doesn't like it. So I need to cancel the order. So I was all bummed. And I even messaged Jay about it. And I was like, oh, they're canceling. That sucks. Well, lesson learned. The very next day, I got another offer for $77. So
boom.
Yeah, so exactly. So I took that right away, and not only did I get the offer, but look at the feedback I got. Simply beautiful. So obviously that wife liked it. So it goes to show you that you never know what's around the corner. So don't get bummed about a cancellation or not accepting a low offer, or, like my situation. So this was after Christmas, January 2nd. This sold for $69.99 with free shipping, and it did go at the first class rate. So goes to show that Christmas still sells after Christmas. So still selling my Hallmark ornaments, and I paid $1.99 for that one. Sold it for $69.99. Now this yarn, there's another picture too. This is a really high-end yarn. This blue heron rayon metallic. It feels like butter in your hands. I don't know how else to explain it. Yeah, it's really soft. Excuse me. It has like a metallic shimmer to it. And I found it in a bag in Goodwill. There were 3 skeins. And if you go to the next photo, Jason, the same buyer bought all 3
Boom.
for $134.85. That's right. And guess how much I paid for those 3 skeins at Goodwill?
How much, Nadine?
$1.99. So I turned $1.99 into almost $135, just like that. Easy to ship, easy to list. Yeah, yarn is awesome.
Well done. All right.
Thank you.
So if you followed our hauls, I think I showed us on a haul. This was The Sound of Music that was priced for $5.99 because the store didn't realize it was 24 karat gold CD. And I did, because I saw it say 24 karat gold CD. I picked it up and sold it in about a week for $34. And you'll know it's 24 karat gold because the CD is actually gold. Easy to find. This was a Ralph Lauren polo shirt that had huge damage in it. And then, as you can see, I put the little arrows in there to show. So it was professionally sewn back together. It cost me $5. I actually got the shirt for free, and I sold it for $50 today. So even with damage, it still sold for $50. And to let you know, it was a $300 shirt when it was new. So, but I was happy to get my $50 out of it. And even though Prince died 10 months ago, this is one of the listings I had up back the week he passed. And I had never changed the price or anything. And it sold yesterday for $49.99 for 6 7-inch singles. And I think I paid $1 each for those. So I had $6 invested, and I sold it for $50. And the last one was this Pyrex coffee carafe that still had the original coffee in it. Had all the original stuff untouched, and I wanted to share this one.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah, I paid like $10 maybe. I sold it for $45.
Can you zoom up on that picture, the first picture, or?
Yeah, hang on. So not a huge profit, but here's what's funny. They were local and they said, hey, can we pick it up? I said, yeah, sure, no problem. So they get to my front door and I hand them the stuff. And I said, look, the coffee's still in there, but, this is like 50 years old. So I probably wouldn't drink it. And you know what they said to me, Nadine?
Oh, no. Don't tell me they said they were going to drink it.
No, we don't drink coffee. I go, you just drove to my house to pick up a coffee carafe. They're like, yeah, we're decorating our kitchen. It's going to look nice.
Oh, okay. Well, I think my parents have that same carafe, too.
Yeah, so
That's
you never
funny.
know what people need it for. Sometimes it's just for decoration.
And also with new old stock items like that, prop companies also buy them. So
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
All right, you've seen our scores now. It is time for our duds of the week. Do not let our mistakes be yours.
Yeah, so I sold this little kit after Christmas for $6.99 with free shipping. I think I only paid like $1 for it, but really, not really worth it. So
Yeah, no, not a bit.
no. And then this was one of my quote dud Hallmark ornaments from my big haul. And I paid $1.99 for it. It sold for $14.95 with free shipping. So still not bad. I've made a little profit, but compared to my $70 ornaments, it was, one of the lower end ones. So, and that I think, that also sold after Christmas. So,
Well, that's cool.
mm-hmm.
All right, now I sold this jacket for $50, and you might say, hey, Jay, that seems like a score to me. This is actually my dud, and here's why it's my dud. When it sold, I'm like, oh, geez, I think I had that listed for a long time. Yeah, I listed it in December of 2014. So it was in my store for over 2 years, and I paid too much money. I paid $17.50 for it. Now, granted, I sold for $50 plus shipping, but the amount of time my money was tied up, the amount of space it took up, it just wasn't worth it in the long run. So, keep on top of your stuff. If stuff's not selling, get it moved, get it redonated, whatever. So even though I made money, it took way too long. And speaking of making money, or not, cassettes are a hot commodity, but dorky faux wood 70s cassette holders, not so much. So this finally sold for $30 plus $12.99 shipping, but it weighed so much it wasn't even worth the shipping. I lost money, and I didn't pay a lot, but again, I didn't have the right size box. So your money is your time, and it took me forever to find the right size box. And so, all those things together, it was just like, meh, not worth my time.
So I'm showing that the buyers pays shipping on that. It shows for me $12.99 economy shipping.
Yeah.
So you still lost money on that?
It cost $14.
Okay.
Yep. Whoops. My bad. All right. Now it is time for Close Encounters of the Thrifty Kind. And I tell you funny little stories that happened to us going to thrift stores. Now, all of you know Vicky, a.k.a. Pink Panther. Here she is. She's a good friend of mine, lives locally. We thrift a lot together. So we were out thrifting. We were going to go to 3 Savers. And on the way to Savers, there was a Goodwill. I'm like, let's stop in the Goodwill. We both bought a couple things, but our Goodwills, at least here in Vegas, are a hot mess. You go to the men's jeans section, and there's a kid's sweater and a woman's blouse and a few pairs of men's jeans. And just nothing. They say sections, but the sections are never right. So we got so fed up because it was so bleh. We left and drove to Savers. And as we pulled into the driveway in Savers, we both went like this. Unbeknownst that the other person was going to do it. So I wish we would have been filming or something, because we both had the same reaction. We know we're going to a store where it's cleaned and organized. Speaking of Goodwills.
Yes, I have a Goodwill story. So my local Goodwill is not cleaned and organized. It's not by any means clean and organized. You've been there, Jason.
Oh, yeah.
So the display case under the counter there, as you can see, is missing some glass. And then if you look at the next picture that Jason has, can you flip it to the next picture? There you go. So you can see that there's more stuff in there. there's still no glass. So I asked my cashier friend, I said, what happened to the glass? And she said, oh, somebody busted it out. And I said, oh, well, that's a shame. And I said, are you guys going to replace it? And she said, no, because it'll probably just happen again. But they're still putting the quote,
The
valuable stuff
in
there without the glass.
So there's no point.
No, but they're still putting it in there. They're still putting the showcase stuff in the showcase, but they have no intention of replacing the glass because they just figure someone's going to do it again. So that's pretty funny. And when I was at the register the other day, there was a Nikon camera in there, and somebody that was next to me looking at something on the counter bumped into it, knocked the Nikon camera down. It wasn't me that did it, but and
sure.
the lens and everything fell off of it. It was in like 3 pieces, and I picked it up and handed it to the cashier, and I was like, oh, this just fell out of the case. And she's like, oh, thanks. But I mean, no glass, but they're still working the case. So pretty funny.
Goodwill, yucky, but good stuff. All right, now time for our thrifty tips of the week. Oh, no. Oh, yours is in your hand, right?
Yes, that's correct. I know. I just muted myself. Do you want me to go first
right.
here?
Yeah.
So I have this. I had we talked about buying CDs and DVDs, and I've been trying to up my media game a little bit because of you, Jason. As you know, I've bought some duds, but I've also had some scores. So I found this one, and I did scan it, and it was doing okay. It's a Caetano Veloso. I don't even know who that is. But the problem is, and as a rule, especially in my Goodwill, CDs get stolen from the cases and DVDs. So often there's just a case with nothing in it. And if you just take it up to the register, they don't check. They don't care. So they'll just sell you a case and nobody will know. So I always go through and check them. But somehow I missed this one because there's no CD in there. So I paid 99 cents for it, but I paid 99 cents for just a case. So my point is always make sure that you check the media cases to make sure that the item is actually in there. Don't miss it like I did.
Absolutely. All right. So mine is going back to the display case with expensive stuff that Nay had at her Goodwill. When you go to Savers, they're usually pretty big or U-shaped. And what you tend to do is you tend to look in the case for some cool stuff, or you look at the stuff right behind it. But there's always a workstation where the employees who work in that area, they work on the jewelry. They clean it up. They get the kinks out. They have all these little tools. Sometimes there's stuff behind the workstation. So my tip is, besides the glass display case, look behind, because I'm about to show you what I found. Now, one of my wife's all-time favorite bands is the band Lit. Most of you probably don't know Lit, but they were big in the 90s. And my wife loves them. We just saw them this summer downtown in Vegas. 2 weeks later, I'm thrifting at the Savers in Summerlin, and I'd already done the glass display case area, looked at everything, and was heading out to go ring out, and something caught my eye standing behind all their little tools. So they really wasn't visible. And what it was a signed drum head from the band Lit, who we had just seen 2 weeks ago. So I did a little arts and crafts, and I framed it for my wife, and I did a little printing, and because it was just a drum head.
Nice.
So I made it. But so the tip is, even look behind the tools, because there's all kinds of cool stuff. I just happened to see the drum head sticking up. I go, hey, what's that drum head? And when she showed me, I'm like, get out of here.
Awesome. How much did you pay for it?
Can't tell. My wife's watching.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah, but she doesn't care.
I had $40 and I had 30% off.
Okay, not bad.
But begs the question, who drops that off at a thrift store? Like, who had
Yeah, really.
that?
That's true.
Who had that and then just dropped it off at the thrift store? It just makes no sense. You know?
I don't know. Unless somebody died.
That could be. Now it's time for You Have Got to Be Shipping Me. Renee and I share shipping tips and what to do and what not to do. And our Shipping Me segment is brought to you by Bubble Fast, a family-owned business providing quality shipping supplies to the online community since 1999. Bubble Fast, the internet's home for shipping supplies. And if you plug in J and Nay, Jayandnay, you'll get 10% off your entire order. So don't forget to do that. Save yourself some money. All right. Shipping tips. Where are we? Okay, there's yours.
Okay, so Do you have the picture up there?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so it's a box of coffee. I can't see the picture, but I'm trusting that it's up there. So I sold this Keurig box of coffee for $19.99 with free shipping. And the thing is, if you have something that's in a box already, that's not really breakable, just the best thing that you can do is put some bubble on it and wrap it in a poly and use the actual box that you have, because you already have a box there. And there's no reason to put it in another box. And that was able to ship first class that way. So I saved a lot of money on shipping.
There you go. All right. So everyone knows, or you should, if you watch our show, you should know what FOMO is. FOMO is freely overcoming mug obstacles, where we ship breakables in flat rate poly mailers. Flat rate poly mailers go for $5.90 anywhere in the country, including Alaska and Hawaii, Puerto Rico, and Guam. And it's $5.90 if you're a top rated seller discount. So as often as you can use this, you should. Now, I ship all my tiki mugs that way. So the lesson isn't FOMO tonight. The lesson is to not get robotic and make sure you're thinking about your products. For the most part, all modern tiki mugs are nice and thick. This will go FOMO, no problem. It won't break. However, vintage ones, some are thick, some aren't. This is very thin. If I wanted to break this right now, I could just crush it in my hand because it is not really heavy duty. Same with this. This weighs 2 ounces maybe. It's crazy how light. So don't get so robotic that you're like, oh, every tiki mug or every coffee mug should go that way. If it's light and fragile, you must use a box. But if it's modern and thick and heavy duty, padded flat rate's the way to go. All righty. And now it is time for our viewers' 2-minute topic of the week. This week, our question is brought to us by Kara Cooper. Thank you, Kara, for the question. And the question is, do either of you pay extra money to list a single item in more than one category? Do you think it's worthwhile as long as you're using the best keywords? All right, let's get our timer up there. There it is. Cool. Oh my. I wanted to show you something before I reset the timer. The timer is still running, Nadine, from last time we did a show.
What?
So,
oh, wow.
Last time we did a show was 719 hours and 51 minutes ago.
That's funny. That's really funny. Wow. Okay.
All right. So here you go.
Okay. So for my example here, I have Disney, I have Sally, I have Nightmare Before Christmas. Now I could put this in Disney, I could put this in plush, I could put this at, there's a few different categories that this would go in. However, if I was listing this, which I won't because it was my wonderful birthday present from Jay and Stacy, I would not do double categories. I would make sure that I max out my keywords. I would make sure that I put Nightmare Before Christmas, Minnie Mouse, Disney Parks, Nightmare Before Christmas, and all of those keywords because they're searchable and there's no reason to waste the money on the extra category. However, if I had a, say, $2,000 item that I was selling, and I was going to shell out for an extra category, it can't hurt then. But for, your everyday items, like and everything that I list pretty much, no, I don't do it. I just make sure that I max out my keywords.
Going strong still. All right. Okay, on this one, I'm kind of pretty much disagree with everything Nay said. For the most part, you don't need to, and even more so coming up. And I can already see the work happening and it working. eBay is strong, hard at work at getting structured data pages. That means if I go to sell this calculator, there's going to be a specific page on eBay coming up. And then because of that, when people search on Google, our stuff will show up better because it's a structured data page. And I'm already seeing it. I'm seeing it when I search things. The search is returning better stuff. So it's all working. So you don't really need to. Now, again, like Nay said, if you have a $2,000 collectible that can fit in 2 really good categories and you're on the fence, yeah, I would probably pay the extra to get it in both categories. But for the most part, majority of the stuff we sell, you don't need to waste the extra money. However, I'm sure you're all like me. Every once in a while, you've done it, and you're like, why am I getting charged so much? Whoops, 2 categories. Didn't mean that. So pay attention.
Wait a minute. You said you were going to disagree with me, and you said like the exact
No, I said
same
agree.
thing.
I agree with pretty much everything you said.
Oh, okay. I thought you said disagree.
No, sorry, agree.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were on the same page on that one. So
All right.
all right, let's stop sharing here. And we have a new little segment. If I can find it. Oh, I didn't even think to come up with a sound effect for it. So
Oh no.
Let's see here. Hey, yeah, perfect.
There you go.
There. Jay and Nay's mini thrift haul. Oh, I love it. All right, cool. So we have another show called Jay and Nay's Thrift Hauls, and we got one coming up tomorrow. I'll share the time with you in a second. So we're going to tease a couple items from tomorrow's thrift haul, but it's really going to be a tease because there's going to be more to it that you'll have to tune in for. So when you're in the hat section, always keep your eyes out for Disney stuff, especially Disney stuff from Hong Kong. Now, what's cool about this hat is actually it does something. This is an interactive hat, and you got to tune in tomorrow to find out what's interactive about it. And I only know it's interactive based on someone else's listing. So although they said it's interactive, they didn't show it in the process of being interactive. So they dropped the ball a little bit. So tune in tomorrow. We'll talk about that hat. And, my other object is this Bugs Bunny toast maker. So you press it into your toast, and then Bugs Bunny shows up in your toast. It's only going to sell for about $10. I paid $1.50. That's not a huge return on my money, but it's a good return. And I'll explain a little bit more why tomorrow, why I am shooting for about $5 or $6 profit, because that's usually lower than I like to tell people to do. But there is a reason. There's a reason. You got to tune in tomorrow, though.
Okay. So Jason, our viewers say that you did say disagree.
Oh, you're all liars.
No, I mean,
I
a lot
agree.
of people.
If I said it, I meant agree.
I know what you meant, but okay. So my haul tomorrow, I'm going to show, I just hit the boot mother load, and I have some really good boots. Now, I'm not going to show the other side of these because it would give it away, but this boot is it's a woman's boot.
Das Boot?
Yeah, this boot. And the brand is one that you probably don't know about, but it's going to sell for a minimum of $50. And it's kind of worn too. So stay tuned and you'll find out the brand of this one. And this is another one that I'll show this side because the other side give away the brand. This doesn't look like anything that special. It's a suede boot that's lined in shearling, and it's another woman's winter boot. And this is another brand that probably is not on your radar. And if it's not, it should be, because this boot is probably going to sell for between $50 and $65. And both are pre-owned. So
nice.
You'll have to tune in to find out the brands. And I have some other boots too to show, and a couple other things. So.
Okay, everyone yelling, what time, what time? Chill, relax. We got a fun graphic.
Yes, that I whipped up 5 minutes before the show.
Yes. All right, we got 2 shows this weekend. All right, I do. So tomorrow, Friday, 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific, is Thrift Haul. So you'll see why my hat's interactive, what brand of boots, why I bought the little toast thingy. So that's tomorrow. And then on Sunday, back with my mom's show, selling past their expiration date, being thrifty over 50, 5 o'clock on the East Coast, 2 o'clock on the West Coast. How and when to cancel a transaction. Mom canceled a transaction prematurely this week. So we're going to talk about that. And oddly enough, the same day, I had to cancel 2 transactions, and I fixed one, so I didn't have to cancel it. So we're going to talk about how and when, don't jump the gun kind of thing. So we're going to discuss that. Now, there is a little caveat to tomorrow's show. You see these awesome things behind me? For those of you who know what these are, I got 3 pair today. 1 and 2 and 3. Now, these are Snapchat spectacles. We're not going to go into what they are right now. Check them out later online. You can Google them. But they're a hot commodity, and they only show up randomly at places. So the random place today was Vegas. And it's going to happen again tomorrow, and you don't know where it's going to happen until it shows up. But I think it's Vegas tomorrow. That's my thought. So if it is Vegas, I'm out of here. I might not be back in time for the show, so we might push it an hour. So if you go to tune in at noon and we ain't there, tune back in an hour later. Okay.
Or at 3,
So that's a little,
at 4 o'clock East
Yeah.
Coast. Yeah, it'll be
Yes.
4 o'clock then if his Snapchat thing works out.
Yep. So just if we're not there at the hour we're supposed to be, we'll be there 1 hour later. Okay. So just keep that.
But it will be tomorrow.
Yep. Alrighty. Let's get our guest in here. Dan Meadors from the Wholesale Formula. Let me turn his camera and his mic back on, and we'll say, hey, welcome back, Dan.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, there you are.
Hi, Dan.
What's happening, brother?
Not too much, man. Just watching your guys' show. I was actually, it's one of the first shows I've just been truly laughing on.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
I'm glad we're entertaining.
We tried. We tried, brother. We tried.
Ian was definitely right, though. You did say disagree.
Thank
All right,
you.
all right,
I love it when I'm right. We're Jason and I are like siblings. We argue like siblings. So when I'm right, I love being right because I'm like, haha.
All right. I didn't mean disagree. I'm sorry, everyone. My bad. But even though 50 people just said it, I am going to go back and watch.
Oh, come on now.
It was funny. I was listening and I was like, wait, this doesn't sound like a disagreement at all.
I know. That's what I was saying. I'm like, oh.
And look, hey, my mom bought me 130 proof rum. What can I say? It went to my head.
Oh, excuses. Please, you're a pro.
Blame it on my mother. All right.
Oh, boy.
Oh, somebody's saying they agree with me that I said agree. Oh, I'm going back and listening.
He said disagree.
Oh.
All right. So Dan's internet connection is a little wonky, but we can hear him fine. He's just a little stop and stuttered. So let me see here. Can I adjust him at all? Now we can hear you okay, and that's okay because there's nothing visual tonight. But let's ask Dan. Dan, give us, before we get to what you do, give us your little bio. Like, where do you live, Dan? Are you married? You got cats? You got dogs? You got kids? What's Dan's deal?
I'm from Kentucky. I am married. I have 2 wonderful kids and 2 wonderful dogs. I've been selling online since 2011. That's when we started. We actually went. Me and my business partner Eric went full time in January of 2012. So we started in like August of 2011. Went full time in 2012 and have been full time selling online since that point.
And have you ever thrifted?
Well, that's
I have thrifted.
Question.
I definitely have thrifted. It was like in our first year, and did really well with it. Actually, found all kinds of stuff. I remember that my best find ever, and it was actually Eric's best find, but I still claim it because I was with him. We found a bird book. Bought it for I think it was 50 cents or $1, and it probably took like 6 months to sell, but we actually sold it on Amazon for $147. And that's our number 1 find of all time.
A bird what?
It was a book about birds.
Oh, a book
about birds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
North American birds or something.
Wow. Yeah, there's some money to be made in books. I have a lot of art. I'm an art history nerd. I took years and years of art history, and I have a lot of books on my bookshelf that are, from back in those days. And I've looked up some of them, and they're worth over $100. So I really need to, I really need to get them in.
All right. So
then I used
questions.
to sell video games.
Yes.
Dan, they want to know if you live closer to Jim Beam or Jack Daniels.
That's a funny.
Jim Beam.
Yeah, Jack's out.
I'm right in Bourbon.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
And then what city in Kentucky also the chat is asking?
Bourbon. It's a metropolis. It's a retail metropolis.
I didn't even heard of it.
A lot of action going on here. It's actually somebody about it the other day. It was they were like, so what's your name a store you like? They named Target. Well, the closest to half away. And I was like, name a restaurant you like. And it was Chipotle. I'm an hour and a half from any. So like, yeah, I mean, our city is super small, man. It's crazy.
An hour and a half from a Chipotle, I would die.
That's funny. And I'm in the middle of Center City here, where there's everything within pretty much walking distance. So,
all right. So you mentioned your partner, and he's not here tonight. But what brought you guys together? Like, did you share a jail cell, Army brats? What's going on here?
Army brats.
Well, we worked at the same place. And one of our friends, he came in, we all worked together, and one of our buddies came in and he gave his notice, which was really awkward because our area, you know, I told you how blossoming it is, doesn't have a lot of good jobs. And this guy was a six, and he turned in his notice and it's like, hey, whoa, what are you doing, man? And he said he was selling on Amazon. I was like, what? Like, we didn't even know that this was a real thing. Like, people, like, I knew Amazon was a place, but I didn't know people even sold on Amazon. And he explained the process, and we were like, well, this is pretty neat. So that's how we got started. It was me and Eric, and we actually believed we would just lose money, and it would be, just so we decided to go in and spread our risk, and it was we dedicated $600 to the amount we're willing to lose on this Amazon adventure. And it was really funny because our first time, he kind of told us what everything that was rank worked and stuff like that. And he was like, just buy stuff with really good sales ranks where you're making money. And I was like, okay, that seems easy enough. So we went scanning, and we found some really cool products that had really good sales ranks. And so we sent them in and a bunch of money really fast, and was like, oh my God, like, what is going on here?
I'm hooked.
So, right. So, I mean, that's how it started. And then, we went on for about 6 months just doing that, like doing it in our free time, doing it on weekends, stuff like that. And our payouts were $60,000, or we sold $60,000 in December. And it was like, holy crap, imagine if we did this full time, like how much money would we actually make? So we decided to go full time in January of 2012. And our first year we did, I think, $840,000 in sales, all shopping out of Walmart and
wow.
Kmart and Target, that kind of stuff. And then 2013, we did $940,000 in sales. All retail arbitrage. But here's the problem for us is, like I said, our area doesn't have a lot of retail opportunity. Like I'm pretty sure that in Vegas, like you could hit those numbers. It probably wouldn't be that hard to hit those numbers. But like we had to drive all over the place to hit those numbers. I mean, we were constantly driving around to real cities, like looking for product and stuff like that. So we wanted to really streamline, and so we started talking about it in 2014. It's like, what can we do to streamline this and make it so we don't have to be on the road so much. So we started looking at our options, and we got started. Actually, we got started with wholesale in mid 2014, and we did with wholesale. It was just a different dynamic. It's like we could call people and they would send us product, and we didn't have to go hunt for all of our product all the time. And we ended that year at 1.2 sales. But it was really awesome because we did our $900,000 with retail arbitrage, and we did $300,000 with wholesale. We spent almost no time on wholesale, so it like really pushed us into, wow, we should do this full time. And then 2015 was our first full year of wholesale. We didn't do any retail arbitrage, and we did $3.8 million in sales. And 2016 we did right at $7 million. So it's grown a lot. It's it's become a lot more awesome of a process for us. But yeah, it was like playing a different game. And once we figured it out, it was much easier to scale and grow our business the way we wanted to.
Awesome. So it seems like within about a year span, you went from your day jobs to doing this pretty much full time, correct? Yeah, that's awesome. And you already answered my question about the revenue that you're doing. That's amazing. I'm wondering, what is your service do to help people who may want to get into selling wholesale on Amazon, but really don't know where to start?
I mean, are you talking about like the course we run?
Yeah, if you could get into a little bit of detail into that, and how it would help people who are thinking, I want to sell wholesale, but I don't know what to do. So, what does your company do to?
Do you hold hands, Dan? Do you hold hands?
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the thing. When we started with wholesale, we actually didn't know anything about it. Like
wow.
it was a very, very new process for us. And what our course does kind of cuts out that learning curve. Like we start people down the path of this is where you start and this is how you progress. And the thing I love about the model, honestly, is that it's majority is outsourceable or trainable. To give you guys an example, I'll tell you this: whenever I did that first couple of years, we did 800 and 900,000 in sales. I worked so much harder than I did this year that it's silly. Like me and Eric probably work. Really, we probably work about 10 hours a week.
Well, I'm sure
that's a testament.
The startup is much more effort and time.
Sure.
Yeah.
But,
so
that was the beauty for us as the scalability side and how you can, because it's very process oriented. There's not a lot of skill involved. Like it's a formula. You just look at this item. Does it fit the formula? If it does, move forward. And you can. A lot of that makes it very out. So yes, it does work very well with people that aren't experienced with wholesale, because it's effectively how we operate our business. That's all it is.
And when you quit your regular job, did your wife go, "What are you doing?"
Oh yeah, my wife was terrified. Like she was like, "Are you crazy?" Because I had a great job for Kentucky. I made great money, and it was just one of those things. I kind of surprise quit with her. Like I went in, and I really wasn't passionate about what I was doing anymore. Like I was really passionate about this whole Amazon thing, and I was having a bad day, and I talked to the boss, and I was like, "Hey, I'm actually just don't want to be here anymore. I'm gonna go start my own business." And then I told my wife, and she was freaking out and all crazy. So yeah, that's probably not the way people should go about that. Like you should definitely talk to your significant other first.
So does your company also work for sellers who are completely new to Amazon? Do you walk them through the proper steps, or is it just for experienced sellers?
Oh, absolutely. We actually we've had students who had never sold a single item on Amazon before and have done incredibly well. This is the thing about previous Amazon experience. It's like a lot of what we learn whenever we start with Amazon, and this is part of what really slowed us down too, was you become ingrained on store brands, right? It's like you see action figures at Walmart, like Mattel and things like that. Well, those typically aren't the best wholesale items. So all the things you get ingrained in buying are actually the things that probably won't do all that well with you with wholesale. So I have a feeling that's why whenever we have people who are really new to Amazon, that they tend to do very well pretty quick, is they don't know of any other way. So everything just makes a lot of logical sense.
So here's the question that we keep getting in the chat. And I know, look, Nate and I all share our scores, what we paid and what we sold them for all day long. And it's different in the eBay thrift world. But people, look, I just heard of a seller kind of doing what you do, trumping all over the place. He did $1 million in sales last year, and when pressed, he finally admitted he made $40,000 on $1 million in sales, which is stupid and ridiculous because I can make well more than that on a lot less. Mm-hmm. So you're giving us big numbers, and I know you're not going to say your exact profit, but even if we back up to when you were doing just arbitrage retail, and you did, I think you said you did 800,000,
900,000.
Can you give me an idea of what your profit or take home, or were you doing $1 million and then only making $40,000?
No. I mean, I can actually give you I can give you a pretty good ballpark right now for like last year. Like we're finalizing everything with our CPA, so I'm not dead certain on it yet. But we got our projections and what we think and like what we're preparing to pay taxes on. So I hope I'll be honest with you. But whenever we were retail arbitrage, we functioned around about a 20% net margin.
Okay.
So on 800,000, about 160,000. Okay. We switched our taxation structure. I think it was 2015, maybe like late 2015. We were able to move to an LLC taxed as an S corp, which allows us to tax ourselves as employees and pay ourselves as employees. This year I think we were operating around a 9% to 10% margin, and that's paying our salaries too. So, like our company made about a 9 to 10% margin, which is $7 million. So, $700,000-ish would be a strong like a pretty close ballpark estimate for you.
So that's not too bad on if it stays true on 7 million. That's I'd take it. How about you, Nadine?
Definitely. Yeah.
So, I mean,
that's great.
The margin's a bit smaller. Like you guys were talking about it earlier, and it's like, oh God, your guys' margins are crazy. But it's one of those things. Like we built our team, and we've built everything around our business to help us operate. When we're not there. So, like, to give you an example, Eric went to the SEC championship last week, or not the SEC. He went to the Tax Slayer Bowl last week and was gone for like 4 or 5 days. Like, I was on vacation for 10 days in December, and like we don't, we're not at work all the time. When we are there, we're generally working on answering people's questions on Facebook and stuff. So it's, I would say honestly, no joke, that we probably work about 10 hours a week probably in our business.
So some of the chat members have also asked, do you just teach for Amazon, or what if someone wants to do wholesaling for their own website or a different platform other than Amazon? Do you also work with other platforms and personal websites?
Here's the thing: I think wholesale is just an acquisition strategy, right? It's just like thrifting or arbitrage or anything else. Like, we teach people how to work with manufacturers in the most effective means possible. Like, you can sell the product however you want to. In fact, you may be able to actually sell it better than I can.
So it's not really the platform that matters. It's the actual obtaining the wholesale item, negotiating the best cost, all of those strategies, correct?
Like for us, I think we probably did about 100 to 200,000 on eBay last year, and that was just on our products. We Joe Lister our products over to eBay, and we don't do all SKUs. We just do certain SKUs at certain price levels to help, so we don't ship things that are too cheap or whatever. With the multi-channel fulfillment costs, but that goes to show you that the products that we're buying actually do sell on eBay as well. Like there's plenty of margin there to work with on eBay.
So, shit, I hate getting older. Lost my train of thought.
Oh my gosh!
I will ask you this. I watched the video.
Getting old, Jason.
I had a good question, but now I'm going to go with my silly one. I saw the video that Eric did of your warehouse on Facebook Live, and my question is it safe to have an open grill cooking meat in a warehouse?
What?
Safe? I don't know if it's safe. Like we do have a grill. We do grill steaks in there. We also have a barbecue smoker in there, and we do smoke. We do smoke insane amounts of barbecue. Like once every 2 weeks, we're smoking barbecue in there. And it was really funny. Like one of the questions we always like to ask people, because I like to, whenever we're interviewing, is what are you truly passionate about? It's like it doesn't have to be related to this. I just want to know what you enjoy, so I can talk to you. And he was like, I'm an amateur pastor. I love smoking meat. And it's like, congratulations, man, you just got a job. So today we talked to him and we were like, hey man, so make an Amazon wish list of every single thing you would ever need to smoke meat. So he made that wish list. We bought everything on the wish list, and we've been enjoying awesome barbecue since. It was crazy.
Now, most people probably didn't even notice if they watched the video because he was kind of moving quick around the warehouse, and I saw the grill with the top up, and I'm like, they're making lunch, damn it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So would you do any vegan foods on that grill, or that's my question.
Some tofurkey?
You could. That's
Some veggie burgers.
We haven't done any vegan foods other than like some random veggies and stuff like that.
Okay, well, veggies are good.
Nothing like no tofu and stuff like that.
Oh, so I guess I need to come be your employee so that changes.
Yeah. So Dan, I know you have 1,000 products, a few hundred. Can you just tell us like one product you guys sell, or you don't have to be specific, but people are just not being able to wrap their heads around it. Like, are you selling toys? Are you selling feminine goods? What are you selling?
Feminine goods.
I'm just trying to throw some ideas.
Honestly, we sell anything that's profitable. We look at it. What we do is we look at products, and we're trying to gauge how many times we can sell a product, and if we can sell it a certain times per month, extra see what the pricing is for that item. So there's really no, we do carry feminine products. We carried everything from like lube to food, like and everything in between. We carry bras.
How long drinking?
Honestly, if we can make money, it's good.
Lube to food tonight at 11.
I like that. That's a good
lube
saying.
to food.
It's just so awesome that it's not for everybody, but if you saw an opportunity and you went with it. And look, I don't make anywhere near what you guys are making, but like you, I have got my operation set up where I took off 10 days in December and went to Maui with my wife. And guess what? My operation still ran, and my increase, Dan, this year over last year was nutty. Percentage-wise, last November and December, I only did about 9,000 in sales between the 2 months, and this year I did 13,000, and I was gone about a third of those 2 months. And so I did $4,000 more, and obviously our margins are greater. So I had this great winter and Q4, and I'm just gallivanting around the country because I had my shit set up. I did my work. I hired the right person to take care of it, and it was enjoyable. So it can be done. It can be done at different levels. It can be done at my level and your level, and it can be done.
I think it's a super important part of being in business is to set your business up to where you're not a critical component of it. And it's like that's amazing that you set your business up to be able to do that. Like most people want to be the chief of every single thing in their business officer. Like it really can't do it. You really need to create your business to run without you. And that's like a huge piece of advice I would give to anybody is look at systems to give yourself freedom and give yourself room to wiggle in your business.
Yeah, Jason and I were just talking about that before the show, and I was talking about how right now I don't think I can have an assistant. And he was like, yeah, you can. But the point was, I have trouble letting go of I'm very control happy. I have trouble letting go of letting someone else take my photos. My photos have to be done a certain way, letting someone else take over certain things. So I guess you need to let it go and be willing to
Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Oh no,
let
no,
it
no,
go.
no! I didn't mean to launch that.
Well, it's one of those things. It's like,
But yeah,
You
you
obviously
have to
don't want
let
somebody-
people. Yeah.
you obviously don't want somebody to take crappy pictures. Like, I can tell you really do care about your quality, but you have to think about that. Like, if you could have let somebody take pictures that may be on average, because nobody's going to be as good at you. You're like obviously artsy and you really care about your presentation, but maybe let's say you're able to find somebody that on average is taking 10% less awesome pictures than you. It's like, does them being able to take all of the pictures now free you up to do 30% more work? And if so, like
Yeah.
you've literally done is grown your business by 30%. So it's
That's the thing,
there's trade-offs, and it was one of the things that we struggled with early too, because it's like, we really cared about how we sent product into Amazon. That was like a really thing. It's like we never
You
break
have
any
your own
rules.
way, right? Yeah. But I guess you have to
And-
at some point realize what what's profitable versus what's just holding you back, I guess.
And Aaron,
Well, it helps you.
Chad had a
I think
good
it helps you
point.
create margin.
Sorry, Dan. Didn't mean to interrupt you there.
I just think it helps you create margin in your business to where it gives you, and by margin I don't mean like necessarily dollar margin. I mean it gives you margin to do more things in your business. It helps give you a chance to see bigger opportunity, and that's where
Aaron
you're going to see your biggest growth.
Aaron had a good point in the chat. She said the price of a warehouse in Kentucky equals the amount I pay for a 10 by 10 storage unit in New York. Yeah, so sometimes part of it is where you are.
Yeah.
Because a lot of celebrities live here because there's no state income tax. And when I say here, I mean Nevada. And so they save all that money, those millions they make, because there's no state income tax. So that's a nice chunk they don't have to pay. And, that's why businesses go to New Hampshire, and, Delaware doesn't have tax on clothes. So you got to think about where you're at. So, yes,
Absolutely.
if you're in an apartment in Center City, Philly, or if you're in a warehouse in the boondocks of Kentucky, nowhere near Chipotle, yeah, it's going to be cheaper.
Oh, yeah. I pay 8% sales tax because I live in the city. Yeah.
But here, let me, people were asking about the warehouse. And I'm going to show it to them real quick here. There we go. So we'll bring kind of in a roundabout way, we'll bring in your partner. And if you go to their Facebook page, oops, let me pop it up here on the screen. I don't have the sound on, obviously, but this is your warehouse, correct?
Yep.
Yep.
For what it's worth, we've always we always tell people that if we had it to do all over again, we would not have a warehouse at all. Like prep centers were not a thing. Yeah, prep centers weren't a thing whenever we got our warehouse. Like, and we didn't know that they existed. So we bought forklifts and we bought a lot of things that helped us move around faster in our warehouse. And that's just something you don't necessarily need anymore. Like prep centers process products for you at such a competitive rate. Like we process products at maybe like 40 cents a unit, and I think prep centers can get you down to 50 cents. And you don't have to have employees and things.
Can you explain for those that don't know what a prep center is?
It's a business that receives and inspects your products and then sends them into Amazon for you, that in compliance with Amazon's rules and regulations.
Okay.
So an example of one is Prime Zero Prep for like we doing some online arbitrage products, and we didn't want to ship them into our facility because it's much harder to ship, like for us to ship 1 and 2 of something than it is for us to ship 100. Started shipping all that product to Prime Zero Prep, and they did a great job with it.
So, and that brings us right to the top of the hour, and that is the perfect time, and well done, Nadine, on that question, because that's the perfect time to lead into, we're going to do a little bit more detailed, Dan and Eric and myself, and here is the info. Now, I'm going to post this in the Thrifting board tonight and everywhere else, but we're actually going to go even deeper. So this was Dan's intro to the Thrifty business crowd, and then we'll go on the 17th, 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the East, 5 o'clock in the West. It's free webinar, and we'll go deeper into why use a prep center? Why don't you want a warehouse anymore? How to smoke your meats inside and not kill your employees. We'll go deeper into all that. So I will post this link within a few minutes of the show being over. So make sure you get your get signed up, and we'll go deeper. And if you did not see, I posted the link to Dan and Eric's blog, and their blog has a lot of tips and tricks about how to do wholesale and lead you down that path. And it's one of those things where you can go really big, or you don't have to go really big. Dan and Eric went really big, and it paid off. You can go. It's all about adding to your bottom line. Like for instance. Not a huge payoff, but I started using Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp, and I've been selling like 2 things a week. And it's just crap that wouldn't sell online, but I'm selling locally, cash, no fees, and I'm meeting somebody at the grocery store. Then I walk into the grocery store and gamble and make more money. So, it's this win-win, but it's always trying to figure out new avenues. I went and bought these glasses today, and I'll probably flip them and make $100 each pair. So it's always about doing something new because you shouldn't have all your eggs in one basket. And you should always be looking for the next thing to make you more money. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it pays for a nice retirement, right?
And where can we find out more about the wholesale formula? How can we sign up? Do you offer any kind of incentives? All of that. I know Jay is going to post a link, but can you give us all of your information there?
Everything, currently, we don't accept signups at any points in the year. Like we usually do an open enrollment phase where we allow people to sign up, and we like to do that because it helps us guide them through the process. Everybody's going through kind of at the same. If that helps to make sense.
Yes.
So, yeah, but you can learn more about us in general on our website, and it's thewholesaleformula.com. And what all that is it'll like you said, our blog and everything.
Yeah, I just posted the link in the chat. Now, of course, the chat goes away, so that link's only for the chatters. But I'll also have it down below here. So speaking of down below, do me a favor. If you've never subscribed, subscribe right down here. Click like right over here, right underneath my big round head. Click like. And then as soon as we're done, I will pop the link for the webinar in 2 weeks, 11 days, 19 hours to be exact. I'll pop that down here. It'll be in the Thrifting board. It'll be on the Thrifty business page. It'll be everywhere. So come hang out with us again. Hopefully Dan's internet connection will be a little bit better.
It will be. I'll be at work. I'll make sure to do that. Was it that bad?
We got it, but it took a little work. But everyone realized the bottom line is if you want to do wholesale and you know what you're doing, you can make good money.
So for Aaron in the chat, no, it's not free, but there is a money back guarantee. So if you're not satisfied, you don't like
now the webinar is free next week.
Oh, the webinar is free. Okay, I didn't realize she was talking about that. Yeah, but as far as the wholesale formula, you do have a money back guarantee. So there's really no risk involved, correct?
Yeah.
Oops. I'm keeping me on. I'm just drinking. I'm talking. I have my face up there.
No, I'm sorry. I thought Aaron was talking about the webinar. Yes, the webinar is free, but as far as the wholesale formula, you do have a money back guarantee. So there's really not any risk involved. You will, if someone's not happy and doesn't feel that it works out for them, you will give them their money back, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, if you don't like our voice.
Look, Dan and Eric are great guys. I've been hanging out with them at all the different events we get to, and Nay and I would never have anybody in our circles on our show that there are a lot of snake oil salesmen in the world, and especially in our circles. And if you know me at all for 5 minutes, I will put them on blast, and I would never have them be part of anything I do. So you can take that to the bank, because if they ever did any harm to any of my peeps, they know they would get their ass kicked by my wife, Stacy. She's a pit bull. She don't look like it, but she'll make you cry.
I'll be honest with you. This was awesome. My mom, this is the first time my mom's like, "Hey, you're going to be on the show with that Thrifting Wars guy, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "What?" First time my mom's ever asked for a link for a webinar that I'm going to be on.
Oh, well, what's your mom's name?
Darlene.
Darlene, I love you, dear. Thank you for wanting to tune in. And if you are a thrifter, Darlene, you want any help, hit me up. I will take care of you because you're Dan's mom. All right, so that's it. We're out here. So tomorrow, thrift haul, and if it's an hour later, it's because I'm buying more spectacles. Sunday, selling past their expiration date with my mom, how and when to cancel an order and kind of how to do it. Too many people jumped the gun. Mom jumped the gun. We'll talk about that. And then next week, we'll obviously be back with Thrifty Business with Jay and Nay. I think I've already got my guests lined up, but I haven't told Nay or anybody else yet, so I'll talk to her about that later. And that's it. 11 days to talk a little bit more about wholesale. And
I need to know who our guest is.
Yeah. You can find me, you can find Nadine, you can find Dan all over Facebook. You got any questions, all three of us are happy to help with anything. Yarn, wholesale, rum purchases. I get emails, texts all the time. Hey, Jay, I'm in the rum section. What should I buy? So, hit me up. I'm always happy to help, as we all are.
Absolutely.
All right, Dan, thank you very much for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
Stay warm in Kentucky, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good night. Thank you.